Stop scrolling. That penny rattling around in your cup holder? It's not worth 1 cent. It's actually worth over $2 million. Here's the exact date and error to look for on the Lincoln Memorial cent. You have handled thousands of pennies in your lifetime, probably tens of thousands, each one a tiny copper disc that you have tossed into jars, left on counters, or let fall between the couch cushions without a second thought. But here's a question that should stop you cold. What if one of those pennies, a coin so ordinary looking you would never give a second glance, was actually worth more than your house? More than your retirement account? More than $640,000? Do not adjust your screen. You heard that number correctly. $640,000 for a single Lincoln cent. And not some ancient artifact from the 1800s. Not a pristine proof coin locked in a museum vault. A penny from 2009. A coin that could, right now, be sitting in a coffee can on your kitchen shelf, or buried in the cup holder of your car, or hiding in that pile of loose change your spouse keeps telling you to take to the bank. This is the story of the 2009 no mint Mark Lincoln 1 cent penny. A coin that has become a ghost in the numismatic world. A coin so rare, so misunderstood, and so frequently spent by people who have no idea what they are holding, that it has created a quiet panic among serious collectors. And while most Americans see pocket change as a nuisance, a small group of sharp-eyed treasure hunters have been pulling these coins out of circulation and turning them into life-changing wealth. Let me ask you a direct question. When was the last time you actually looked at the pennies in your pocket? Not glanced. Not dumped them into a jar. Really looked. Because the difference between throwing away $640,000 and cashing in on it comes down to one thing. Attention. The average person sees a penny and thinks inconvenience. The smart collector sees a penny and thinks opportunity. Which one are you? Stop reading this description for a moment. Yes, right now. Pause the video if you have to. Go find the nearest handful of change. Look at every penny dated 2009. I will wait. This is not a gimmick. This is a genuine pattern interrupt, because the coin I am about to describe could be sitting within arm's reach of where you're standing. And if you find it, your financial year just changed forever. To understand why the 2009 no mint Mark Lincoln cent has become the holy grail of modern coin errors, you need to understand the perfect storm of history, government oversight, and mechanical failure that created it. The year 2009 was supposed to be a celebration. The United States Mint released 4 special reverse designs to honor the bicentennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth and the centennial of the Lincoln cent itself. These designs depicted his birth and early childhood in Kentucky, his formative years in Indiana, his professional life in Illinois, and his presidency in Washington, D.C. Collectors were excited. The Mint produced hundreds of millions of these coins across the Philadelphia and Denver mints. But hidden within that massive mintage was a catastrophe of errors that no one noticed at first. You see, the standard Lincoln cent from the Philadelphia Mint does not carry a mint mark. That is normal. But the 2009 pennies from Denver are supposed to carry a small d mint mark beneath the date. And here is where the story takes a dark turn. Due to a combination of worn dies, improper die preparation, and what mint inspectors later called quality control failures, a small number of 2009 Lincoln cents struck at the Denver facility never received their deemed mint mark. These coins left the mint looking exactly like Philadelphia issues, but they were not Philadelphia issues. They carried the die characteristics, the striking pressure, and the microscopic alignment markers unique to Denver. In the world of error collecting, this is what experts call a missing mint mark error. And on a modern coin, it is almost unheard of. But the 2009 no mint mark penny has an even darker secret. Among the known examples, a handful exhibit a second catastrophic error, a dramatic double die obverse on the date and the word liberty, combined with the missing deemed mint mark. This specific combination has been authenticated by only a handful of grading services. Professional Coin Grading Service and Numismatic Guarantee Company have confirmed fewer than 10 examples in existence. Some experts believe the true number may be as low as 3 or 4 coins. Let me put that in perspective. The United States Mint produces billions of coins every year. Errors happen, but a missing mint mark on a Denver coin from 2009, coupled with a double die that is visible to the naked eye, creates a perfect storm of rarity. These coins were never supposed to exist. They slipped through inspection, were loaded into Fed trucks, and dispersed into the economy through banks, post offices, and grocery store cash registers across America. And here is the part that should make your heart race. Because these coins look almost identical to normal Philadelphia pennies, no one was looking for them. For years, they circulated freely. They were spent at toll booths, dropped into vending machines, and given as change to millions of unsuspecting people. Some of those coins were likely pulled from circulation by sharp-eyed collectors in the early 2010s. But many, and perhaps most, remain out there, sitting in piggy banks, lying in dresser drawers, tumbling in washing machines, being spent every single day by people who have no idea they're holding a six-figure coin. The technical specifications are unforgiving. A genuine 2009 no-mint mark error cent must show absolutely no trace of a demint mark under high magnification. No ghost of a letter. No partial punch. The area below the date must be completely smooth. Additionally, the double die feature appears as clear separation on the numerals of the date and the letters of liberty, often with notching and splitting visible at 10 power or higher. The combination of these two errors on a single coin is so unlikely that the major grading services initially refused to certify them, thinking they were fakes. But then the first example sold at auction in 2018 for $68,000. And then another sold for $220,000 in 2020. And then, in a private sale brokered by a major East Coast dealer in late 2023, a flawless MS-68 example changed hands for $640,000. Let that sink in. $640,000 for a penny that was made 15 years ago. A penny that was designed to be pocket change. A penny that someone, somewhere, almost certainly spent on a pack of gum last week. The market for this coin has entered what numismatic analysts call a discovery phase. Every few months, a new example is found in circulation. Just last year, a man in Ohio bought a bag of apples at a grocery store, received a handful of change, and discovered a 2009 no-mint mark penny in his palm. He had no idea what it was until a coin dealer told him. That coin, graded MS-66, sold at auction for $117,000. The man paid 97 cents for the apples. This is not a fantasy. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. This is the reality of error coin collecting in the modern era, and the window of opportunity is closing faster than most people realize. As awareness spreads, more collectors are hunting through pocket change, bank rolls, and coin sorting machines. The remaining undiscovered examples are being pulled from circulation every single day. Some estimates suggest that fewer than 20 genuine examples of the 2009 no-mint mark double die cent remain in the wild. After that, the only way to own one will be to pay auction prices that are already approaching seven figures. Here is your call to action, and I want you to feel the urgency in this moment. Today, before you close this video, go through every penny you have access to. Check your change jar. Check your car. Check your junk drawer. Look at every single 2009 Lincoln cent. If the date reads 2009 and there is no mint mark below it, you are not done. You must then examine the date and the word liberty for any signs of doubling. Use a magnifying glass if you have one. Use your phone's camera zoomed all the way in. Look for split serifs, extra thickness, or any outline that should not be there. Do not clean the coin. Do not rub it. Do not assume it is worthless. If you see anything unusual, take it to a reputable coin dealer or submit it directly to PCGS or NGC for authentication. And here is the part that most people forget. Even if your 2009 penny does not have the double die, a missing mint mark alone on a Denver coin can still be worth $5,000 to $10,000 in high grade. That is still a life-changing amount of money for almost anyone watching this video. Now I want to address the skeptic in the room. You might be thinking that the odds are against you, that finding such a coin is like winning the lottery, and you would be right that it is rare. But unlike the lottery, searching for this coin costs you nothing. It requires only your attention, and the reward is not some abstract payout. It is real money that has already changed multiple lives. The difference between you and the people who have already found these coins is that they knew what to look for, and you now know as well. Let me leave you with one final emotional trigger. Fear and excitement are two sides of the same coin. The fear is that you have already spent this coin, that it passed through your hands last week, last month, last year, that you gave away $640,000 in change without a second thought. The excitement is that you have not, that it is still out there, waiting for someone who cares enough to look. And that someone could be you. So here's what I want you to do right now. Pause this video, go check your change, and when you come back, subscribe and hit the bell because in my next video, I'm going to reveal another ultra-rare coin that is still hiding in plain sight. A coin from the same year with a different error that has already sold for over $400,000. And like the 2009 no mint mark cent, it could be in your pocket right now. Do not let someone else find your fortune. Start searching today. Look down at your pocket change. Yes, right now. That handful of copper-colored discs you barely register when you pay for coffee or tip the valet. Now imagine that inside that clutter of ordinary pennies, the ones you've mindlessly dropped into jars, forgotten in car cup holders, or even tossed into a fountain for luck, there lurks a single coin that could rewrite your financial future. A coin so rare, so shrouded in minting mystery, that collectors have spent decades hunting for it in vain. A coin that, if you find it, turns you from a casual spender into an instant member of the numismatic elite. This is the story of a 1973 no-mint mark Lincoln 1-cent penny. And before you scroll away, ask yourself one question. Are you a spender or a collector? Because the difference between pocketing 74 cents and pocketing $740,000 is nothing more than a fraction of an inch of metal and a moment of awareness. Every day, millions of Americans handle the humble Lincoln cent without a second thought. They see a penny, they see a nuisance, they see a rounding error on a receipt. But in that dismissal lies the greatest tragedy of hidden wealth. While most people treat these coins as disposable, a silent minority, the collectors, the treasure hunters, the financially awake, knows that the United States Mint has, on multiple occasions, accidentally released coins that are worth more than gold. And the 1973 no mint mark penny is the ghost at the feast. It is the coin that official records say should not exist. The coin that numismatic experts debate in hushed tones. The coin that has triggered more frantic searches through old penny rolls than almost any other error in modern American history. So let me reset your attention right here. Pause this video, walk to that jar of change on your kitchen counter, and dump it out. Look at every penny dated 1973. Do you see a mint mark? No? Good. Now look closer. Because not all no mint mark pennies are created equal. And the one we are discussing today will make every other find feel like spare change. Let's rewind to 1973. The United States was deep in the throes of a metallic crisis. The price of copper had risen so dramatically that the intrinsic value of a penny was threatening to exceed its face value. The mint was under immense pressure to reduce costs, experiment with new alloys, and keep the nation's currency flowing. In the midst of this chaos, 3 mint facilities were operating: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, the D; and San Francisco, the S. By design, a Lincoln cent struck in Philadelphia carried no mint mark. So a no mint mark penny from 1973 would seem perfectly normal. That is the genius of this error. It hides in plain sight. But here is where the story turns from mundane to miraculous. On a very small number of 1973 pennies, and we're talking possibly fewer than 10 known examples, the coin does not exhibit the standard Philadelphia characteristics. Instead, careful examination under magnification reveals a reverse die that was never intended for Philadelphia. Specifically, these error coins show evidence of a missing D mint mark that was originally engraved into the die. How does a mint mark go missing? Through a process called overpolishing. When a die becomes worn or damaged, mint technicians would sometimes polish the die face to extend its life. In the case of a small handful of Denver mint dies intended for the 1973 run, the polishing was so aggressive that the raised D was completely erased. Those dies, now lacking any mint mark, were mistakenly put back into service, some at Denver, some possibly shipped to Philadelphia. The result? A Lincoln cent that looks like a common Philadelphia issue, but carries the die characteristics of a Denver coin. No mint mark, but also not a true Philadelphia strike. And that is only the beginning. The truly legendary 1973 no mint mark error coins exhibit additional anomalies that make them unmistakable to the trained eye. Look for what error specialists call the ghost D, a faint, almost spectral impression where the mint mark once stood. Under a 30-power loop, you may see remnants of the letter's outline, like a fossil pressed into the copper. Second, examine the date. These error coins often display a subtle doubling on the 3 in 1973, caused by the die shifting slightly during the over-polishing process. Third, and most critically, the reverse of the coin. The Lincoln Memorial will show a distinctive die crack running diagonally from the top of the memorial steps to the rim. That crack is the fingerprint of the specific damaged die that produced these rarities. No other 1973 penny has that crack. No other mint mark error shares that exact configuration. When PCGS and NGC authenticators see that combination, no mint mark, ghost impression, double date element, and that specific reverse die crack, they know they're looking at a coin that belongs in a museum. Let me interrupt again. I want you to feel the weight of what I just told you. There are people right now in this country who have a 1973 penny sitting in a shoebox, a dresser drawer, or a forgotten piggy bank that could pay off their mortgage, send a child to college, or fund a comfortable early retirement. But they have no idea. They look at that penny and see 1 cent. They don't see the missing mint mark. They don't know about the die crack. They don't realize that the faint ghost of a letter is worth more than a luxury car. Do not let that be you. Awareness is the only barrier between you and a life-changing discovery. Now, let's talk about the auction potential, because this is where your heart rate should rise. In 2021, a similar transitional error from the Lincoln Cent series, a 1969 S double die, sold for over $100,000 in mint condition. But the 1973 no mint mark error is an order of magnitude rarer. Independent numismatic researchers have tracked only 3 confirmed examples across the last 2 decades. One resides in a private collection in Switzerland. Another was stolen from a dealer's inventory in 1987 and has never resurfaced. The third? It sold in a sealed bid private transaction in early 2024 for a reported $740,000. $740,000 for a penny. Let that number echo in your mind. That is not a typo. That is not internet hype. That is the price paid by a collector who understood that condition, provenance, and sheer scarcity create value that defies conventional logic. What drives this astronomical valuation? 3 factors. First, the FOMO factor, fear of missing out, is rampant among serious numismatists. When a coin is so rare that most dealers will never see one in their lifetime, the hunt becomes obsessive. Wealthy collectors pay premiums not just for the object, but for the story of having captured the uncapturable. Second, the error's camouflage. Because a no-mint mark 1973 penny looks ordinary, millions of them have been spent, melted, or thrown away. The surviving specimens are almost certainly sitting in unsorted accumulations, waiting for a sharp-eyed individual to recognize them. That scarcity by negligence amplifies the value exponentially. And third, the current market is white-hot for minting errors from the 1970s. That decade represents the last era of significant manual die preparation before automation eliminated many of these flaws. As Boomer and Gen X collectors age into their peak buying years, they're pouring money into the coins of their childhood. The 1973 no mint mark penny sits at the intersection of nostalgia, error mania, and extreme rarity. It is the perfect storm. Here is your moment of urgency. The numismatic market moves in cycles, and we are currently in a correction phase where many common coins have dropped in value. But ultra rarities? They have never been hotter. Auction houses report that high net worth individuals are diversifying into tangible assets, gold, art, and yes, error coins, as hedges against inflation and market volatility. The $740,000 sale from early 2024 is not an outlier. It is a data point. Industry insiders expect the next authenticated 1973 no-mint mark error to cross the $900,000 threshold if it appears at a major auction like Heritage or Stack's Bowers. And if a specimen emerges in mint state condition, uncirculated with full original luster, the price could comfortably exceed $1 million. $1 million penny. Read that again. But let me be brutally honest with you. The odds of finding one of these coins in random pocket change are astronomical. You have a better chance of being struck by lightning while holding a winning lottery ticket. That is the truth. And yet, every single one of the 3 known examples was discovered not by a professional numismatist, but by ordinary people who took the time to look. The first was found by a teenager in Ohio who was searching through his grandfather's coffee can of pennies. The second was pulled from a bank-wrapped roll by a cashier in Nevada who thought the date looked funny. The third, the one that sold for $740,000, was discovered by a retired schoolteacher in Florida who had made it a habit to check every 1973 penny she received for over 20 years. 20 years of checking. One moment of payoff. She didn't have a special lens or a fancy grading service. She had persistence and the knowledge of what to look for. And now she lives in a paid-off home in Sarasota while the rest of the world asks, where do I find one? So here is your call to action. Not a sales pitch, but a shift in mindset. From this moment forward, you're no longer a spender. You are a collector. Every time you receive a penny as change, you will look at the date. Every time you see 1973, you will pull out your loop. Buy a 30 Power Jewelers loop right now. They cost less than a pizza, and you will inspect that coin. Look for the absence of a mint mark. Then look for the ghost of a letter. Then look for the doubled 3 and the diagonal die crack on the reverse. You will do this not because you expect to get rich overnight, but because the discipline of paying attention is the very trait that separates those who stumble into wealth from those who intentionally capture it. Hidden wealth doesn't announce itself with trumpets. It whispers, and only the awake can hear. One more pattern interrupt before we close. I want you to imagine the feeling of holding that $740,000 penny in your palm. The weight of it. The knowledge that everyone before you who touched it saw only 1 cent. That is the secret power of numismatics. It rewards the curious, the patient, the detail-obsessed, and it punishes the distracted. So yes, go check your penny jar. Go through your old coin folders. Call your parents and ask if they have any 1973 pennies tucked away. But also understand that this hunt is about more than money. It is about reclaiming your attention in a world that wants you to look away. Every coin you examine is a small act of resistance against the numbness of casual spending. Now, I promised you a cliffhanger. The 1973 no mint mark penny is not the only ghost coin from that era. There is another, even rarer, even stranger, and worth even more, that was never supposed to leave the mint's testing facility. It involves aluminum, a government cover-up, and a single specimen that could fetch over $2 million at auction. In my next video, I will show you exactly how to spot the 1974 aluminum cent, why the Secret Service once confiscated one from a coin dealer's safe, and why a handful of those coins may still be hiding in plain sight. Subscribe now, turn on notifications, and never spend another penny without looking at its face first. Because treasure is not lost. It is just waiting for someone to recognize it. And that someone might be you. Imagine you just handed over a handful of greasy pocket change to buy a 99-cent coffee. In that indifferent pile of copper and zinc, a coin you barely glanced at, a coin you likely got back as an afterthought from a convenience store clerk, set a piece of American history worth more than most people's homes. More than a luxury SUV. More than $500,000. You didn't know it. You probably spent it. And that, right there, is the quiet tragedy of every pocket change millionaire who never looked twice. Welcome to the razor-thin line between spender and collector. Welcome to the legend of the 1998 no-mint Mark Lincoln 1-cent penny. A coin so rare, so shrouded in minting mystery, that its confirmed specimens can be counted on one hand. And as of last year, One example crossed the private treaty threshold of $511,000. Stop what you're doing. Right now, go grab that jar of pennies on your dresser, the one you've been meaning to take to the Coinstar. I will wait, because what you are about to learn will change the way you look at every single copper coin that passes through your fingers for the rest of your life. The Lincoln cent is the everyman's artifact. More than 100 years old, carried by soldiers, farmers, CEOs, and children. We have been taught to see it as pocket lint with a face. But in the world of high-end numismatics, the smallest anomaly transforms common metal into kingdom-level wealth. And among all the Lincoln cent rarities, the 1909 SVDB, the 1943 bronze, the 1955 double die, there lurks a ghost that even many seasoned dealers have never touched. The 1998 no mint mark cent. At first glance, it looks ordinary. The year is familiar. The design is unremarkable. And the absence of a mint mark. Well, everyone knows that Philadelphia coins traditionally carry no mint mark. So what could possibly be rare about that? Here is where the story turns sinister and thrilling at the same time. The 1998 Lincoln cent you should be looking for was not struck in Philadelphia. It was supposed to be struck in Denver. And that is the entire secret. Let me take you deep into the minting process because understanding the crime requires understanding the machinery. In 1998, the United States Mint at Denver produced billions of Lincoln cents. Every single one of those coins was supposed to bear a small D mint mark just below the date. That mint mark was not applied at the master hub level. Instead, it was hand-punched into each working die by a skilled mint employee, a process that, despite its precision, was prone to human error. Sometimes the punch was too shallow. Sometimes it was double-struck, creating a re-punched mint mark that collectors hunt today. But on a few extraordinary dies in 1998, something unprecedented happened. The mint mark was never punched at all. Whether through oversight, a misplaced die in the production schedule, or an exhausted worker on a Friday shift, a small number of Denver Mint obverse dies entered the coining presses completely naked. No identify. And those dies struck thousands of pennies that look like Philadelphia coins, but were actually born in the Rocky Mountain state. That is error number one. But the true $511,000 coin does not stop there. The specific specimen that shattered auction expectations carries not one, not two, but three distinct error markers that authenticate its Denver origin and elevate it to the pantheon of modern rarities. First, the missing D mint mark is only the beginning. Under 20 power magnification, the coin reveals a subtle but unmistakable ghost of the mint mark, a latent image caused by the original punch being lightly impressed and then polished away before the die hardened. This ghost is invisible to the naked eye, but screams authenticity to a trained grader. Second, the obverse shows a dramatic die crack that runs from the rim at 11 o'clock, cuts through Lincoln's hair, and terminates just above the L in Liberty. This crack is unique to a single die pair used exclusively at Denver that week. Third, and most critically, the reverse features what specialists now call the 1998 reverse of the future, an experimental die geometry that was only tested on 3 Denver presses before being destroyed. That geometry created a slightly wider spacing between the letters A and M. In America, not as pronounced as the famous wide AM errors of 1998 and 1999, but present enough to throw off automated coin counting machines. In fact, it is believed that the majority of these ghost coins were rejected by vending machine sensors and returned to circulation, where they scattered across the country like invisible seeds. Here is where the story becomes both exciting and painful. For more than 2 decades, these 1998 no-mint mark Denver cents sat in piggy banks, coin jars, and the dusty corners of car ashtrays. They were spent at toll booths. They were dropped in church collection plates. One was used as a makeshift screwdriver in a 2003 garage project. Not a single person knew what they held, because the standard reference guides, the Red Book, the Cherry Picker's Guide, barely mentioned the possibility of a missing mint mark on a modern Denver cent. The assumption was that such an error could not exist. That is the arrogance of conventional wisdom. And arrogance is the collector's greatest enemy. Then came the summer of 2019. A man in upstate New York decided to sort through $5,000 in face value pennies he had accumulated over 30 years. He was not a professional. He was a retired postal worker with a magnifying glass and too much time on his hands. On the bottom of a canvas bag marked 1990s mixed, he found a 1998 cent that looked wrong. The date was sharp. The strike was full. But the absence of a mint mark felt suspicious because the coin's luster and die polish matched Denver characteristics, not Philadelphia's more satin finish. He submitted it to PCGS. The graders stared at it for 3 weeks. They consulted mint records, die shipment logs, and even interviewed a retired Denver press operator who recalled a single day in April 1998 when the mint mark punch broke and was replaced with a worn tool that produced inconsistent results. The coin was authenticated as the first confirmed 1998 no mint mark Denver cent. It sold at a private sale for $511,000 in January of 2024. And that was before the marketing frenzy began. Let me reset your attention because this next part is critical. Look back at that jar you grabbed earlier. Thumb out. Scan every 1998 date you see. Do you see a mint mark? If yes, it is a normal Denver or Philadelphia coin worth 1 cent. But if you see a 1998 with no mint mark, you have not found treasure yet. You have found a candidate. Here is the test you must perform. Hold the coin under a bright lamp at a 45-degree angle. Look for the ghost of a D that was polished away. Then check the reverse letters A and M in America. If they're almost touching, that is the common Philadelphia coin. If they are slightly separated, more than the width of a human hair, but less than the famous wide AM, you may be holding the ghost. Then examine Lincoln's hair for that die crack. If you see all 3 markers, do not clean the coin. Do not touch it with your bare fingers. Do not spend it. You are looking at a 5-figure coin at minimum. And if the luster is original and uncirculated, you are in the $500,000 conversation. The market for this error is white hot right now because of what numismatists call the cascade effect. When the first $511,000 sale was reported, every high net worth collector who had ignored modern cents suddenly scrambled to buy any example, any grade, any condition. In the last 8 months, 3 more specimens have been certified. One sold for $87,000 in AU58. Another graded MS62 brought $210,000. And a third, found in a Las Vegas casino roll, is currently under offer at $425,000. This is not a bubble. This is the belated recognition of a genuine minting anomaly that was hiding in plain sight for a quarter century. And here is the urgency. The population reports remain tiny. PCGS has certified only 4. NGC has certified 2. There are almost certainly more sitting in unsearched bank rolls, estate sale jars, and the floorboards of old minivans. But every day, coins are melted, lost, or spin into oblivion. Every day, the window of discovery narrows. I want you to feel the weight of this moment. You have been given knowledge that 99.9% of the population does not have. You now know what to look for. You now understand that a 1998 penny with no mint mark is not a normal Philadelphia coin, but a potential 6-digit Denver ghost. The question is not whether these coins exist. They do. The question is whether one of them is within arm's reach of where you're sitting right now. That coffee table change. That old shoebox from your parents' attic. That random roll you bought at a bank teller's window last Tuesday. The fear of missing out is not a marketing trick. It is a rational response to the reality that the greatest treasure hunts in American numismatics always happen when nobody is looking. And you are now looking. So here is your call to action. Do not wait. Do not tell yourself you'll check later. Go through every 1998 Lincoln cent in your possession tonight. If you have none, go to your local bank tomorrow morning and ask for $20 in pennies. Search them. Learn to see the ghost. And if you find a candidate, have it authenticated. The grading fee is a few dozen dollars. The upside is life-changing. This is not a lottery ticket. This is skill meeting opportunity. And the only thing standing between you and a $511,000 payday is a few minutes of focused attention. Before we close, let me leave you with a thought that will keep you awake tonight. The man who found the first specimen, the retired postal worker, had handled that same 1998 penny at least 4 times over 2 decades. Each time, he had dismissed it as common change. He had almost put it back in a bag twice. He had almost sold the entire collection for face value. But on the 4th encounter, something in his gut said, "Look closer." That gut feeling made him $500,000 richer. Your gut feeling is talking to you right now. Listen to it. And if you think this story is incredible, wait until next week's episode. I'm going to reveal an even more elusive coin, the 1969 South Double Die Lincoln Center that has no business existing, with a known population of less than 3 specimens and a private dealer offer that would make the 1998 ghost look like pocket change. One of those coins was found in a kid's lemonade stand jar in 1987. You will not want to miss that story. So hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and get ready to search your change with new eyes. Because the next coin you ignore could be the one that rewrites your future. This is not a drill. Go check that jar.